The New Jersey Devils took the NHL by storm last season. They had their first training camp practice today to kick off their quest to the Stanley Cup Finals. So let's talk season expectations with James Nichols, Devils beat reporter for New Jersey Hockey Now. James, you're at the facility. It seems like just yesterday the season ended. Now we're right back for what DJ Khaled would call another season, man. How's it going?
It's going well. I was pleased to not need to use Waze this morning to get to the arena. I knew how to get here. I feel like I'm in mid-season form, so I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
You knew your way all around Newark. You knew how to get to the Rock. The expectations are high in Newark, and the ceiling is high at the Rock. So what was the vibe like on the first day of training camp, and what are the players saying about being back?
Yeah, everyone's excited. You know, the term raise expectations keeps coming up, and that's because, you know, nobody really thought the Devils were going to be as good as they were last year, and thus they were, you know, a top 3 team in the NHL by the end of the regular season. So raised expectations has been thrown around a lot today. Everybody's expecting them to maintain that level of status that they've had since, you know, last season. And, you know, there's a bunch of new players that are here as reinforcements. You know, Tyler Toffoli's here. You know, he's a former 30-goal scorer just as soon as last season. So, you know, there's a lot of firepower in this lineup. There's a sense that this group is a group that can go really deep in the playoffs, and everyone's excited to get to work. Everyone is determined to, you know, come here and work hard despite, you know, what they did last season. There's no egos here. Everybody's ready to get, you know, there's some pretty hard work, and everyone's trying to earn their spot on the roster too. You know, there's no gimmies here, so everyone's excited.
Well, you're talking about people trying to earn their spot on the roster. What's the biggest position battle that we should keep an eye out on throughout camp?
Yeah, I've been contemplating this all summer. You know, what is, well, where are there even spots in the lineup here? There's so many players. There's so much depth here. But the one spot that really sticks out to me is there's a spot on the third line in the forward group, you know, that's up for grabs. You know, there's a couple of guys who can take that spot too. You know, I believe that there's going to be some sort of combination of an Eric Haula and Andre Palat playing on the third line. And, you know, in the mix for winning that third spot on that line is an Alexander Holt, is a Graham Clark, is a Nolan Foote. And those are just some of the rookies, right? Then there's veterans like Chris Tierney's here now, Thomas Nosek. So you do wonder who's going to win that spot. And then on the blue line, you're looking at, you know, 2 guys who left some pretty big holes in Damon Severson and Ryan Graves, who have moved on to new teams. So now you're looking at Luke Hughes to step up. You're looking at Kevin Ball to step up. You know, Colin Miller is in, but then there are some, you know, younger defensemen here too, such as Simone Nemec, who are going to be making a push to win a roster spot. So that third, a spot to win there, and there's definitely a spot to win on the blue line because you know, some big holes that were left via free agency or trades this summer.
Definitely going to keep an eye on those position battles. And I want to talk to you about one of your latest articles in New Jersey Hockey Now. You made a bold prediction that Vitek Vanacek will be in the Vezina conversation. He played a career-high 52 games last season, 33 wins, and a 2.45 goals against average. Those were career highs as well. So do you see Vitek taking a step toward being an elite NHL goaltender this season?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Emphasis on the bold prediction there. You know, the point was to be pretty bold about that. But, you know, the thing is for Vitek to take a step forward as a goaltender, I just spoke to him about it today. He said it's really just between the ears for him. He didn't do too much this summer to change how he trains. He always trains very hard, and he made sure to put an emphasis on, look, I'm always determined to be the best version of myself that I can be. But, you know, one of the things that hinders me sometimes is, listen, sometimes it's between the ears. So he said what I did this summer was I made sure to take a lot of time out of my schedule to talk to a lot of people, not just, you know, mental health coaches, but, you know, just regular people on an everyday basis as well. So he put a big emphasis on his mental health. He put a big emphasis on just, you know, tuning out the outside world and just making sure that he's prepared mentally more than he was last season. And that he is expecting to have another strong season like he did this last season.
Well, he had to be mentally tough to go through what he went through that Rangers series, you know, after that first game at the Rock. So shout out to him for understanding that it's more than just being physical. The mental part of it, the mental aspects of sports helps you be an elite player as well. I guess here's another bold prediction I can ask you. Does this year's roster have enough to win the Stanley Cup, and why?
Yeah, I look at this roster up and down the lineup, and I say to myself, do they have the pieces, right? Do they have a star forward? Check. They have Jack Hughes. Do they have a number one defenseman? Check. They have Dougie Hamilton. Do they have the right supporting cast? Check. They have a very deep group of not only forwards, but defensemen. So I do think that the Devils have all the pieces to put together a championship caliber team. The one question that you have for this team is, how is the goaltending going to look? Vitek Vanacek is back. Akira Schmidt is back. But Tom Fitzgerald also brought in a plethora of goaltenders. Keith Kincaid is here. Eric Shalgren is here. Even Martin Brodor's son, Jeremy, is here, right? So there's definitely depth at that position as well that the Devils are prepared for this season. So they have all the pieces. You look at the previous Stanley Cup champions, as soon as last season, Adin Hill and the Vegas Golden Knights, right? Adin Hill's a great goaltender, but he's not one of the big names like an Ilya Sorokin. He's not one of the big names like an Andrei Vasilevsky, right? But the Vegas Golden Knights were good enough to win in front of him, and he was good enough to bring them to the Stanley Cup and ultimately win it. So I do think that the Devils are good enough to win in front of their goaltenders. They might not have elite goaltending. You hope that one of Akira Schmid or Vitek Vanacek could evolve into that. But no doubt do I believe that the Devils are prepared and equipped to go on a deep run in the playoffs and possibly compete for a championship.
Bold predictions, high expectations. Devils hockey is back, ladies and gentlemen. James, thanks for joining us, my man.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.